it's not work for gas, but it's because when we have gas flow, there's a change in fluid property. When there's a pressure drop, we have JT cooling, temperature change, right? This equation can be used for change in the fluid property with the temperature too, but it's not quite easy. Okay. Think about this, when we integrate it, look at friction factor. This doesn't depend on friction factor, right? Friction factor is from Reynolds number. Reynolds number is rho V over mu. We need to know viscosity. If viscosity keeps changing with the distance, or if density keeps changing with the distance, how do we do it? Okay.
Sum of all the
We have to do radar. How do we do it if the fluid property change with the distance?
You would probably change it
With the distance.
How do we do what?
Pressure drop calculation.
You have to take it at several points.
Take it at several points. Correct. I think that's the correct answer. So we have the pipe. We chop it into small section, and we may assume that each section has a constant temperature. Actual temperature may be like this, but we assume it as a step, like that. Okay? So we have to do some discretization. So this equation we have three terms: F, frictional pressure loss, gravitational pressure loss, accelerational pressure loss. This theta is inclination angle. 0 degree means horizontal flow. Okay. Subscript A, accelerational pressure loss. This is for change in velocity. All the unit has to be SI. Okay. This part is SI unit. If the field unit, they have G sub C. Okay. The diameter is inner diameter, and you have seen this several times already. Any question on this? No question on this. Is this for fully developed flow or developing flow, or both? Both? Yes. Depend. If we want to use it both, we have to update friction factor accordingly. Is it for turbulent flow, laminar flow, or both, or none of that? Doesn't matter. It's for both. It's not just for turbulent flow. So we have to adjust friction factor accordingly. If it's turbulent flow, oh, that F, is that fanning friction factor or Moody friction factor? Fanning, if it is written like that. Alright. Make sure you know it, or if you don't know it, write it down. Oh, is it Newtonian fluid or non-Newtonian fluid? Alright, it's valid for both. This kind of question and answer, read it for yourself, okay? It can be asked in the exam. If it is asked in the exam, it's fine because the answer is already given. Make sure that you know that it is for steady state. Friction factor calculation. Colebrook-White is this equation. Okay. Last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I test on that. Calculate friction factor for Colebrook-White. Use the iterative method in the calculator. It's super easy. You want to do it again? No. Or that's for breakdowns. I will decide about it. But the equation that you should write is this one. Okay. This is a Holland equation, explicit form. You put everything in, you get the answer out. Okay. No iteration is needed, and it's accurate. But this one is more accurate. Okay. This one is more accurate.
Very accurate.
If you do it in Excel, okay, there's a way to do the iteration. How do we do iteration in Excel? That's require initial guess. If I do initial guess of friction factor equal to 0.01, I can rearrange my equation. You see this equation? This equation is the same as that equation. It's exactly the same thing. Okay? It's exactly the same thing. I rearrange it. I get f equal to some function of f. So what do I do next? I assume f equal to 0.01. I put 0.01 over there, do the calculation and find out what is the result. Output will be that. Okay. The output will be the new value for friction factor. Can you do this? Not yet. Not until you try in the homework. Then we will put it in the homework for you to try. So use this equation. Set initial gas as 0.01. Put 0.01 over there. Calculate, get the value of left hand side. That will be the updated value of friction factor. Put the updated value of the friction factor back into the equation again. Do the calculation, we get second update of the friction factor. Repeat that until the friction factor answer doesn't change. Okay? This is column A and this is column B, I think. So if you do this, you get that. Okay? How do you try this in your calculator? Maybe that's a little bit long, but we test it every year. Okay? Maybe if we have more time, we will show you how to do that. Okay, that kind of thing, try to do it in the homework. Okay? Gas pipeline. In the gas pipeline calculation, fluid viscosity change with temperature, and temperature can change. Density obviously change, right? When we have pressure drop, density of gas is direct function of density. So when we have pressure drop, gas expand. When gas expand, it's less density, so Reynolds number change. Friction factor change, frictional pressure loss change. So we need to do something. If we don't use computer program that discretize it into small section, we need to get the formula that is already validated with experimental result. Those equations are panhandle A, panhandle B, all those equations. Okay. The first one that I would like to introduce you is isothermal case. In the situation that the temperature is the same, okay, we call isothermal flow. When do we have isothermal flow? When do you think we have isothermal flow? On Tuesday, we have isothermal flow. Maybe. We never have isothermal flow. Okay? When there's a temperature change, or when there's a pressure drop, we have JT cooling, so we cannot have isothermal flow. One special case that we can have isothermal flow is we did not insulate the pipe. The pipe it's just a bad pipe. Put outside, okay? So it fills the environment. Okay? Outside you have wind blowing on Tuesday, Wednesday, every day, okay? We didn't insulate the pipe. Whatever cooling that happens inside doesn't have any impact because heat from outside will coming in to make it become isothermal flow. This is one of the assumptions. So when we have isothermal flow, we get that equation, okay? And this is the SI unit for that equation. In this equation, do you need to write it down? Yes, you have 8 pages totally for the final exam, right? Write it down. I am not going to give you, I don't even tell you any of this. I just tell you, for the isothermal flow case, the pipe ID is 2.9 inch and temperature is assumed to be 60 Fahrenheit. Okay. The inlet pressure is 2000 psi. We assume isothermal flow. What is the pressure at 1 mile away? And you calculate it. Use isothermal flow equation. Good? You just put the number in. Okay? So your job is write this down for isothermal case. How do we derive it? Of course, we skip it for undergrad class. We will go through it for graduate level. For undergrad class, what you need to know is the assumption. This assumes steady state. Okay, steady state means if we take a picture at the same location on a different time, we get the same thing. That is steady state. Okay, steady state means no change with time. Okay, the derivation is based on continuity equation. Okay, that's the continuity equation plus mass balance is continuity equation. Equation of state PV equals Z nRT. Okay, and use isothermal and constant Z factor. It doesn't need to be 1, but dZ equals 0. Eventually, Okay, we do math and use what's this equation? Macroscopic energy balance, or first law for the open system. Okay, not first law for the closed system. We allow mass in and mass out. Then the U H is enthalpy, U internal energy. We assume horizontal flow. Okay, no work done by gas, no work done on gas, and then we get do a lot more math. Eventually, after a lot of math, we get that. And after we get that, is in the unit that is not easy to use, we rearrange it to get the unit that is easy to use. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, we have that is kind of cubic foot per day. This is still isothermal flow. Okay, so this is another unit. Question on how to do this. Okay, you may have a question on how do we do substitution. Okay, what is L sub m over there? L sub m, let's go back. Do we have L sub m in this equation? It's some kind of length. Okay, this equation doesn't seem to be the same as that equation. To know the mass flow rate, we need the pressure at both points. Look at that. If I have mass flow rate already, I know pressure at point 1. How do I get pressure at point 2? Probably computer. Why? Because I have pressure at point 2 over there and over there. One equation, one unknown, but it's not explicit form. How do I solve it? A little bit difficult, right? Okay, so that is isothermal case. And the length over there, this is SI unit, okay? Or if it's an engineering unit, it will be feet. This equation is isothermal flow too, but it's in the engineering unit that is easier to use. The parameter, all right, we will go through it, okay? Assumption, friction factor is not a function of distance from the inlet, okay? That's the assumption. Friction factor is constant, no work done, horizontal flow. Compressibility factor is not a strong function of pressure, okay? With this assumption, you see this chart, okay? Then how do we get Z factor? Compressibility factor is it over there? It's right there. See that compressibility factor. I need a compressibility factor to do anything. Okay. The equation that is in engineering unit that you will need to use is that, okay, or this. In this equation, L is in mi. So you need a conversion from feet to mi. Okay. D is diameter in inch. Okay, that is D in inch. That D is that D. Okay. That capital D is not that small, D is feet. Okay. Q, standard cubic foot per second, and this already spelled out as standard cubic foot per day. Okay. So this standard cubic foot per day, Röntgen, PSIA, Röntgen, PSIA, friction factor no unit but expanding. This is my diameter is in inch. What about gamma? What is my gamma? What is gamma? Who want to help you next is Mr. Stark. What was that? Israel? Is it?
Yeah.
Yes. What is gamma? What is that gamma?
Specific gravity.
Specific gravity. How do you calculate it? Molecular weight over 29. How do you? Oh, 28 point something. Okay. That's how we. That is that gamma. All right. Compressibility factor. the Z factor appear in that equation, that has to be the way to estimate it. The recommended way from GPSA is this formula. Okay. What about P bar? What is P bar? P bar is average pressure. Where do we use it? It is used in calculate that Z bar. So P bar, Z bar need P bar. P bar is the average pressure. Okay, average pressure we do weighted average like this in PSIA. Okay, for pressure less than 100 PSIA, compressibility factor can be just that. The equation is shorter. Okay, that is calculation is done. What does it mean to you? If I want to know the pressure drop, if I want to use isothermal flow equation, which is this equation, okay, this equation, I know the flow rate, right? This time it's okay. Base temperature, how much is base temperature? Mr. Stark, how much is the base temperature? 60 plus 460 or something. That's the base temperature. Temperature that we standard temperature. Base pressure 14.65. Okay, that's the base. So we know this. Friction factor. How do we know friction factor? Friction factor is Reynolds number, of course. Density is not going to be given, is it? I don't need to give you density. What about velocity? Do I need to give you velocity? No, I don't need to. I just give you that. How do you get velocity? Q over A, is that what it is? Is that what it is? Let's go back to hydrate lecture a little bit. You may notice that one of the exam that we have this time doesn't have anything to do with velocity inside the pipe yet. Okay, velocity inside the pipe, there's an equation for that, and that equation is right over here. 60 multiplied by QG, T, Z, D squared, P. That gives me velocity. Right? But I need velocity because I need to do rho VD over mu to get Reynolds number. And the question statement doesn't give me velocity, it just tells me MMS SCFD, how many MMS is SCFD, what is the temperature, what is the pressure, it tells me that. In the diameter compressibility factor, maybe it may even tell you that, okay, to make everything easy. They say, okay, compressibility factor of 0.92 or something. Then you get that velocity, okay. What about density? How do I get density? PV equal to ZNRT, rearrange, do some math, get density. Okay, if you cannot calculate density, you cannot get Reynolds number. Okay, density requires compressibility factor too. Okay, you got it right? You got how to get density? Okay, that comes from PV equal to ZNRT. Okay, after we get density, we know the velocity, we know the diameter, we know the viscosity. Viscosity has to be given. It has to be easy to viscosity. Then we can calculate Reynolds number. From Reynolds number, what do? We get friction factor. To approximate friction factor, there are several ways. Okay. We may use this Holland equation for turbulent flow. Okay, that is for friction factor. Okay, plug that in, then we get friction factor. So that isothermal flow of gas. Okay, this is a AGA isothermal flow. Okay, we have kind of final equation. Okay, with some simplification. The final one is this. Okay, this is the final one with some simplification. It's already have roughness term. Okay, elevation term. It spells out all the unit. Okay, you can use this, and L sub m is mine. Okay, L sub m is mine. Do we need Reynolds number anymore in this equation? So this with some simplification. You see, is it better? This simplification, is it a lot better? Yes, we don't need velocity. Where's the velocity? Friction factor disappear. It become this. 4 log 10, 3.7 over epsilon over d. Or that is, that capital D has to be the same unit as that epsilon. If the epsilon is in meter, that capital D has to be in meter. Okay? So this equation, the good thing with it is, velocity term, which is a little bit difficult to calculate it disappears. Okay? You don't need to know any of that anymore. So what you do is put flow rate, put pressure at point 1, okay? This term is known, this term is known, epsilon is known, this is known. Compressibility factor, you may assume 1 or something. Temperature is known. Length in mind, is it length in mind? LM, okay, it doesn't say over here, but that's a length in mind is known. Gamma is known, or I can test you again how to calculate gamma, give you the composition. Use weighted average based on mole percent, not mass percent. Mole or volume percent. Okay, E sub B, let's say 0 elevation, you know the diameter. Then you can calculate pressure at point 2 square. Take the square root, then you know the pressure at point 2. Then we get the pressure drop. Good? Okay, easier. What about E? What is that E? Pipeline efficiency factor. Just put 1, okay? How efficient is that pipeline thing? How much is the loss, or like it's like safety factor that we can put over there. That is ATA isothermal flow. Okay, if we have isothermal flow. This equation is not given, this unit is not given, you write it down, okay, in your A equation. Reynolds equation, even easier, okay? We know the distance, we know the temperature, compressibility factor. Okay, compressibility factor is based on P bar. The reason that I say assume 1 first because of this. Look at this equation carefully. How do I get Z bar? I need pressure at point 2 first, right? Compressibility factor dependent upon P1 and P2. I do not know P2. I know just P1. I need to calculate the pressure drop, right? I do not know P2. So if I don't know P2, compressibility factor comes from this equation. How do I get it? I cannot. So if you want to do the iteration, step number 1, say compressibility factor equal to 1. Okay, just say it's equal to 1. Do the calculation, get pressure drop, get pressure at point 2. Once you know the pressure at point 2, go back to calculate average pressure. Then calculate compressibility factor again. Okay. Once you know the compressibility factor, put it back into this equation, calculate it again. Then you get the new pressure at point 2. Keep doing that until it converges. Okay? Not going to be fun, right, in the exam. So in the exam, I may just say, assume 0.9 or assume 1 or something. But if you want to accurate, that's the way to do iteration. This requires iteration too, whenever you have Z bar. Okay? This time we have T bar, temperature average. Okay, temperature is in Röntgen. Reynolds equation is assume this. 0.008 over D is a friction factor. Put it in, and this is a final form. Okay. So this is kind of easier. Okay, easier form. So E value is just a fraction. I'll tell you, okay, 0.99, 0.95 or something. So this is a Reynolds equation. Good for short pipe, hydraulic system. Okay, degree of error increase with pressure. Must be fully developed turbulent flow. It's not good for laminar flow. Okay. Good for short pipe. Vermont equation, this is the detail of it. It's based on the measurement of 0.8 to about 12 inches. It is for fully developed, fully rough region. Okay. Friction factor is only a function of roughness. Memorize this for quiz or exam. High Reynolds number region. Okay. High Reynolds number region. So Vermont equation, what is high Reynolds number region? Next to you, what was your name, sir? Colton. How much is high for Reynolds number? What is high Reynolds number? 100, is that high? 2,000? 10,000? 20,000? Or 100,000? Is it on this chart? Okay. The answer is from the chart. Oh, where's the chart? I don't have the chart. It is I don't have the chart. The chart I'm talking about is a friction factor as a function of roughness. You have seen it before, right? At a certain Reynolds number, it stays flat. It doesn't change anymore with Reynolds number. So at a certain range, when the friction factor is not a function of Reynolds number, that's where we want to use Vermont equation. Okay, high Reynolds number. All right, it should not be used for diameter more than 12. Good for short pipe, high pressure drop in facility, not cross-country pipeline. That's Vermont equation. A note from GPSA, we multiply Q from Vermont equation with 1 over square root Z to give the corrected Q value, which will closely approximate the meter flow. Whenever I tell you, okay, assume this is just for your information in the exam, I don't really test you on that, okay? That's the Vermont equation. The next one is panhandle A, okay? Panhandle A recommend E equal to 0.92, okay? That's the equation, just put it in. The unit is over here, okay? SCFD, S doesn't have MM, okay? Okay, that's a unit. And what do? You write it down. We have panhandle A, and panhandle A has recommended value. They recommend use E equal to 0.92 multiplied by F of panhandle A. F of panhandle A dependent upon the size of the pipe. So if OD is that much, ID is that much, this is a coefficient. Most of the time it's 0.9. Okay, 0.9. If the pipe is big, it's more than 0.9. Okay. Once I know this, put it over there, then it give me E value. Okay. Panhandle A, most of the time we use panhandle B, not panhandle A. Okay. But originally for panhandle Eastern Pipeline Company, good for long pipeline. Okay. Reynolds number is 5 to 11 millions. Okay, 5 to 11 millions. In this equation, length is L sub m, is it mine? Yes, mine. Okay, there's a length in mine. Put number in, make sure that you use absolute value. Röntgen, PSIA, not Fahrenheit. Okay. D, diameter in inch. Okay. Panhandle B, this is the equation that we typically use for long pipeline. For the one in the facility, we use Vermont equation. So this equation has, what's the unit? Unit is the same as previous equation. Okay, cubic foot per day, standard cubic foot per day. And all these units is the same, it's just different form. Okay, this is panhandle B. E value, 1 for new pipe, 0.95 for maybe average condition, 0.92, unfavorable, 0.85. Okay. Definition can be, is the same as panhandle A. Okay. Definition of unit is the same as panhandle A. You write this too. Okay. There are many things to write, but we have 8 pages, right? Comment, parameter A and B use preset value of mule gas. Do we have mule gas over here? No, it doesn't. It doesn't have mule gas. It's set to a certain value that they think is good enough for that pressure temperature. E may be adjusted to make prediction match with the middle result. Okay. But in this case, we don't adjust it in practice. Parameter B is used for straight line portion of the pipe. Okay. This is fully rough. Neither Weymouth nor parameter A and B give the conservative assumption that can-always over-predict the pressure drop. This means if I want the maximum possible pressure drop prediction or conservative prediction, what I do is I use both. I will use that and find out which one gives me more. Those give me more is the conservative approximation. Okay? Low pressure gas. If we have pressure, vacuum pressure or 100 psi, there's another equation. It's just equation that for you to write it down, right? Quite boring, but okay, you need that. At this point, who don't know how, not who don't know, like, do you have any difficulty on do substitution and do the calculation? Okay. On the calculator, it could be a little bit difficult. So what I suggest is, when you actually take the exam, don't try to put everything all at once. That leads to wrong answer. You may calculate this term first, or these two terms multiplied together. You get the number, write it down. Calculate this term, write it down, and then each term, then combine them. That will be better. Okay. Okay. Low pressure type. We have another equations: olefin and split gas. What do you need to know? This. You need to know the name. Okay. You need to be able to write that name. Which equation is for low pressure? Or which equation is for vacuum? You write either that or that. Okay. L here is in feet. This is that L, not LM. Okay, be careful with that. So let's take a look at the summary. Equation selection. Use Weymouth and parameter B. Select the higher pressure drop case. Weymouth equation for small diameter short pipe facility or in the facility. Use parameter B for diameter more than 12. Okay. Cross-country pipeline, moderate radon number is okay. Use split glass if it is low pressure or vent less than 1 psig. Olefins if it's less than 35 psig. Okay, and this is the range of gamma for the best performance. I know that you cannot memorize everything, but at least you should know that we use parameter B, not A. Okay, and for vacuum, we use this. Or even if you say that or that, it's okay. And the pipe diameter, big pipe, use parameter B. This is question from last year. I will try to do this. Maybe a little bit afterwards. Okay. This is how to use successive method to do the calculation. When we do this, I will ask you to bring the calculator and we do it together as a quiz and we do it again for the final exam. How about that? So it's not today. Alright, let's go to pipe 2. You have 5 more minutes, but we can make a little bit. Okay? Pipe 2. Okay, we already know how to calculate pressure drop for the case of liquid. Do you know that? We know the pressure drop for the case of gas. Okay. For the liquid, we need to know Reynolds number, viscosity. For the gas, we just use Weymouth panhandle B, just that. Okay. Then there's a question: if we have 2 pipes in parallel or 2 pipes in series, what do we do? Okay. Let's go over just the first slide and be done. How about that? Okay, in this example is a concept of equivalent length for gas flow. Pipe A is 1 inch, ID, and 100 feet long. This is pipe A. Okay. Pipe B is 3 inches, ID, and Z feet long, a lot longer. See, gas flow in pipe A at the rate of X SCFD creates pressure drop of Y, so it has a certain pressure drop. What should be the value of Z, okay, on the length of pipe B that will allow gas to flow at the same flow rate to create the same pressure drop as in the case of pipe A? So we have two pipes, same pressure drop. First pipe is 1 inch, 100 feet. The question is, for pipe B, how long should it be so that we have the same pressure drop? Okay. Given that the pressure and temperature for both cases are the same. In addition, the Reynolds number is very high. Friction factor is only the function of epsilon over D. Okay. So the answer is dependent upon the equation that is used in the calculation. So if we go through, we still have a lot more time, we still go through the isothermal case. Let us do another first slide. Maybe just this, okay? We can go back to the first slide. This is tell you what is the equivalent diameter. The equivalent diameter means the diameter that gives the same pressure drop. The equivalent length means the length that gives the same pressure drop. Okay. I found that, used some kind of calculation, I found that 3-inch pipe of 30,000 feet give me the same pressure drop for the case of 1-inch pipe of 100 feet. You believe me? Yes, that's what I found. So for a gas pipeline of 100 feet and 1-inch ID, what is the equivalent length of this pipeline in terms of 3-inch ID? The equivalent length will be that much. Okay. Be careful with this wording. Be careful with this wording. For a gas pipeline of 33,753 and 3-inch ID, what is the equivalent length of this pipe in terms of 1-inch ID? So you will say 100 feet because 100 feet give us the same pressure drop. Okay. The next concept is the equivalent diameter. Okay. For a gas pipeline of that long and that ID, what is the equivalent diameter of this pipe in terms of 100 feet long? So it will be what? 1 inch, right? The question will not be this. The question will be higher or shorter. Okay. For example, I may say, for a gas pipeline of 100 feet and 1-inch ID, the equivalent length of this pipe in terms of 3-inch ID is longer or shorter than 100 feet. So you have to be able to tell if it is longer or shorter. Or I may say a pipe that have this much length and that much ID, the equivalent diameter in terms of 100 feet length is the equivalent diameter in terms of shorter pipe length is more or less than 3 inch. You may not know that it's 1 inch, but you will know that it's more or less, right? Okay, you can go. We will review this again for the TA time. If you need a TA, please come to see me. Okay, I have to